Hi, I'm your host, Constance Carpanez, and you're listening to the Bota podcast, Anchor Point. On March 12th, 2020, I met up with Jeannine Vautrin, at the time massage therapist at Bota for about 8 years. We sat in a cozy hotel gold room, where Jeannine shared her path, her ambitions, her esoteric spirit, and her passion for massage therapy that makes her one of a kind. This interview was conducted a day before lockdown in Montreal. Things are obviously no longer the same, but Jeannine's heart is in the same place today, filled with love and warmth for those who are lucky enough to cross her path. This is her story. All right, we're ready to go. Hello, Jeannine.
Hi, Constance.
Thank you for being with us today. We have known each other for a little bit now, for a little few years. And I thought you'd be the perfect person to have on this podcast because you're part of the Bota family.
I am.
As a massage therapist. So we're going to start with the basics, just so that we can all get to know you a bit better. Jeannine, where are you from?
I'm from Montreal.
What brought you to become a massage therapist?
Well, when I was looking for my next career, because I was a personal trainer originally, and I realized there was something missing in that field that I just couldn't seem to connect the way I wanted to, I heard that the next wave was alternative therapies. So I saw massage therapy, and I thought, why don't I go check that out? And as I was going through that, what I realized was I didn't want to go the medical model route. I really wanted to go more the metaphysical, even though I didn't know what that meant, esoterical, if you want. I still didn't know what that meant. But I knew that was the path, and I didn't know why. And that was the beginning of my massage.
Interesting. So it was almost kind of like a gut feeling in a sense.
I was drawn to something, and I think I know today why. But at that time, it was strictly, let me do that.
What were you doing before that? Did you get that idea when you were in school or even before that? Or when did that kind of manifest in your life?
I spent 10 years doing personal training. And I loved helping people. I loved that one-on-one. I loved the support. But I noticed that it was very hard for the women that I was in a women's gym in Chicago. And I just noticed that it was really hard for them to meet their goals. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. You know, everything was laid out scientifically for them to reach their goals. So I'm thinking, well, what's missing? There's a component missing. And then we had moved actually then to Tampa. And then I saw this pamphlet for massage therapy. And I thought, I never really touched anybody, but I thought, let's try that. That's where my mind was at that time.
I love that because I actually wrote an article about you in 2018, beginning of 2019, where we talked about what it meant to be a massage therapist. Yeah. And we talked a lot about touching and, all the energy that goes through you, but also that flows through the client. We're going to touch on that a bit later. But I wanted to know, when did you start at Bota?
I started in August 2012.
So it's been a minute.
A minute and a half. It's been a minute and a half.
It's been a minute. So what can you say is so unique about being a massage therapist at this point?
What's unique is the evolution of consciousness, the evolution of the planet. There's such a drive to personal development. There's such a drive to enlightenment. There's such a drive to what's going on here that I'm not aware of yet I am aware of. And I find that this is a wonderful time for that because when I meet somebody, when someone comes into my cabin, they're looking to be touched. We can call it a massage. We can call it go hard. We can call it my shoulder, my neck. The body's screaming for balance. So that's why I'm there, So I feel that. I feel the imbalance, not just the physical imbalance, but also the emotional and the spiritual. So I try to bring all of that to every massage.
So how intense is that to do that every day, or at least a few times a week?
Well, yeah, it's about, 16 times a week or so. It's how intense it is. It's what I find is happening more and more is people are coming very cloaked. You know, it's like in a self-preservation mode, you know. And I find that quite difficult because then it's to access, right? So you want to access the emotional body or the spiritual body, and it's like, it's not quite available. So that becomes harder.
Because it takes out a lot from you.
Yeah, because I'm, you know, if you think of I'm sending my spirit to this person, the person is sending their spirit back to me, or are they?
Right.
And then it becomes like a physical, and I find in my own body that when not like forcing pressure versus acquiescing to the available energy, it's a different it's a different output for me as a massage therapist.
Yeah, I could see that. What's your favorite massage to give? I know at Bota we have so many massages, but
you do. Such a menu, but I would have to say that it's Lomi Lomi.
Lomi
I would have
Lomi.
to say it. I would have to say it.
So could you describe a bit what Lomi Lomi is?
Lomi Lomi is a beautiful spiritual, energetic massage that came originally from Hawaii. In Hawaii, during times when there was very little language, and the life expectancy was also about 35 years or so, you know? So they needed to have the next kahuna, the next chief, the next person that was going to be in charge of taking care of the families. And so in order to have the person be at their very best, they had to remove the levels of experience that they had accumulated in their lives so that they become more of themselves. They could reveal more of themselves. So it's really about taking away experience to reveal the true nature.
One's true self.
Yeah.
At Bota we offer Lomi Lomi and Lomi Lomi Nui.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about the difference between the two?
Well, Lomi Lomi is basically a forearm massage. So it's taken more from a Swedish base, and it's done with the forearm. So the idea is that it's still the idea of the wave of pressure, but it's done more with a medical model than more of a therapeutic model.
Okay. And so Lomi Lomi Nui?
Lomi Lomi Nui is we come out of the pressure, these zones to work, and we're more into harmonizing the body. And the harmonizing the body through elements. So rather than to speak of, I want it deep, I want you to work out some knots, we would say, do we need to bring more air into your energy body? Do we need to bring more grounding? Do we need to bring more fluidity? So we would speak more in elements, water, air, fire, earth, as opposed to hard, soft, medium.
So one of the things that before I met you, and before a lot of people meet you, I think they hear a lot about the Lomi Lomi Nui experience with Jeannine. And that's something that definitely drew me to you the first time, because I wanted to know more about you and how you did that and how special it was. And so a lot of people I heard cried a lot during their sessions and had a lot of memories come back. And this may be kind of a broad question, but how do you explain that some people get so vulnerable during this kind of massage? What kind of triggers it, do you think?
Oh, I so love that you asked me that question. That's like beautiful. So what I've come to understand, and it's very much in the last year because I do quite a bit of Lomi at home and at Bota, and what I've understood is to get connected to my heart. So it has less to do with in the moment of deciding or feeling you. It's about, let me connect to me, see where's my heart at right now. The very first feeling that comes up, it belongs to me. It could be sadness, it could be joy, it could be whatever. Once I feel that fully, and that's the piece, we call it a contact. So we make contact with the receiver, the person that's on the table. So as I'm making contact, I'm becoming aware of what's in my space. And so I don't want to interfere with the process of the person. So in order to do that, I need to get to a clear heart space. So my job in that is to get to the clear heart space. So by the time I touch the person on the table, that's going to resonate with them. And sometimes it's a known feeling. If you've had great relationships in your life, you know what it's like to feel that love, that nurturing. Yesterday I was called the grandmother-mother energy when I did my the Lomi, which was very comforting for the person who received. And I think that's beautiful that I can embrace that and be that. But really, it's about clearing my own space to get to their space so that I can hear what their body or their soul or their energy body is asking for.
It's like magic.
It is.
I love it. What kind of person would you advise should try the Lomi Lomi Nui?
I think we're in a particular time in our culture and in our society, and I think anybody wanting to get connected to themselves, that want to take the layers of onions, the things that are wrapped around our heart that stop us from, you see a lot in personal development. I want to love more. I want to connect. I want to forgive. But we need to allow the feelings that are in us already. We need to have a space to let them up. So once we let them up and to detach from them, it's not about creating more stories. It's just like, okay, that's the story. This is how I feel. Let me allow that feeling up like a wave. I spoke of that this week to somebody where you just let the wave come up. So here's this sadness, for instance, it comes up, and think of the waves in Hawaii because they're huge and they're very powerful. So as the wave turns over, it's like, okay, here I'm at the height of that feeling of sadness. I go down. I'm going down to the shore, and I'm going to send that to the beach. And as a visual, you say, okay, so if I take a lot of room on the beach, if that wave needs a lot of room, it meant that there was a lot of sadness that came. Is the tide coming in or is the tide going down? Mm-hmm. That's the question. And then depending on once you hit the shore, is it taking up a lot of room or is it just kind of fizzled out?
Wow. It's almost like, would it be weird to say therapy for the body almost?
For the spirit.
For the spirit.
Therapy for the spirit, and it takes a lot of courage, and I respect anybody who comes in massage at any time for any modality. It takes a lot of courage to come in and give yourself.
Yeah. I've spoken about this to a lot of massage therapists lately because before I started to work at Bota, I didn't realize what it meant to be a massage therapist. So I realized watching all of you doing your work and actually being one of your clients and, seeing everything in action, I realized how much energy and how much patience and how much, I don't know, just like respect. Yeah. And also just like you give so much of yourself to every single person. Mm-hmm. And that to me is such an amazing gift to everybody. And I think that if anyone has the chance of getting massage, I think it's a great gift to yourself because you're giving yourself time to, take care of your body, but also, it's a gift from the massage therapist to be there for you for 60 to 90 minutes and just giving a part of themselves to heal you. And it's something that we tend to forget. It's like it takes two to tango, right? It's like
it really does. It's funny what you said, and as you were talking, I was like visualizing. Bota is a ferry. It's a docked ferry, and I think of that as it's like to come and get you out of the waters, right? It's to collect you out of the waters. It's like it's a chance to come up for air.
So let's take a step back to look at who you were before you became a massage therapist. Maybe when you were a little girl. Looking back, do you believe that you were maybe predestined to become a massage therapist?
Oh, definitely. I was predestined because that's where I am. It's been the greatest success of my life has been being a massage therapist. I would never have believed it, but hey, here we are. We're here. Proof is in the pudding. What destiny? It's funny. I used to rub. My mother every night would ask us to rub her back, and I remember like, how you rub someone's back. I don't want to. I know. We did that every night, and she got a lot of peace from that. Wow. And I just wonder if that somewhere in my journey that stayed with me, that mother-daughter, that connection that we had in the time that I was just rubbing her back.
Right.
And we were young. I mean, I was 8, 9, whatever, 10 years old, still a little bit into my teens. So I wonder if that wasn't another sign.
A little sign, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you work a lot with signs, right?
I do. I'm a sign person.
So in 2020, we'll be celebrating the 10 10th anniversary of Bota as a spa. And so throughout the whole year, we're going to be celebrating through the 5 senses of Bota. The first sense that we actually used is the sense of touch. I was wondering, you as a massage therapist, and maybe just as a person in general, what do you believe that the sense of touch can bring to somebody, and why it's so important to have touch in our lives, physical touch?
That is a great question. It's been proven scientifically that babies who do not get touched don't thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just if we stay right there to understand the importance of touch, the importance of that connection, it's very easy to disconnect when you don't touch somebody. And if you notice, just walking around, there's always people are trying to keep their bubbles to themselves, you know. So touching is it's huge. And I got trained in Florida, and in order to do any kind of energy work, you had to have a massage therapy license. You were not allowed to touch people without a license.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we can see where touch is. It's become, to me, I think it's completely important, but I also see how it's been twisted out of context.
Right. And we can see how much, just you and your profession, how touch can heal as well, as mentally as physically. Because you will come in with, let's say, a problem. You're like, oh, my shoulder hurts. Let's try to fix that. And then sometimes you realize, oh, your shoulder does hurt, but what's inside your mind that's making it hurt that much,
right?
That
What's
you can't handle it. Exactly. And that's where I find it fascinating, because touch can be so healing in so many ways, like mental, physical, and everything's just kind of connected. And I feel like we're missing that connection. Like, we don't understand it, or at least we don't want to see it. Because I want to believe that we're talking more and more about that right now. We're still at the beginning of that conversation, but I think it's getting somewhere. So when you're not working at Bota, you're actually offering, if I'm correct, Reiki and spiritual counseling from your own home.
I do.
Can you tell us a bit more about the practice of journeying?
Journeying, my favorite. Journeying is about, it's about detachment, right? It's about detachment, and it's about not getting tied up in stories. Because we all eat for each emotion that we have suppressed over time for anything. It could be a surgery, it could be a fall, it could be a heartbreak, it could be a death, it could be anything. All these, and all we do is we just compile levels of emotion in our bodies. Emotion gone wrong creates illness. It creates imbalance. And so often I'll have people in my practice that come not because they want to journey necessarily emotionally. They want to get to the bottom of either cancer or tumors or muscles that are just, it's gone beyond. It's become arthritis, or it's become rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, all of this. And so you say, okay, so what I do is I take the person back into their body to make peace with the emotions that are down there. So how I do that is, it's like I said about the wave before, so I'm going to say, so as you connect to your heart, and this also is Lomi. Lomi is the same thing. I teach Lomi. It's about connecting to your heart. We connect. That's how we're going to give the massage, from the heart.
Right.
Easier said than done, right? So I'll ask them to connect to their heart and what's there. Sometimes we don't know what's there. The brick wall is there. It's okay. So then we smack the brick wall, and we get to, okay, so what's the first thing that comes up? Comes up and it floats to the surface.
Wow.
Because it's like holding a beach ball under the water. The moment you let go of the beach ball, poof, up it comes,
Completely.
So then, and we go through that, layers of that. And sometimes there's a story that unveils as the emotion comes up. And then we see the story, but we don't get reattached to it. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to reattach to the story. We're just going to say, oh, I remember that. That's what's down there. And then it's about connecting, and then it's about letting go. And we let layers of emotion, and as that comes up, lives can change. When you let go of, when you're able to just journey through your own self, your own emotions, your own energy body, it's like anything can happen after that.
I love that. That's so exciting. Also, it's like, I feel like it's very hopeful.
It
in a
is.
sense, It's like not everything is forever. Like you can change things, you can change your life, you can change the outcome of things if you take a moment to listen.
Right. Because it's all these experiences that we've kind of kept to ourselves or held on to. And a lot of times it's, if you listen to conversations, it's about, oh yeah, and he did this to me, or she did that to me, and I'm really mad about that, and but we're not getting connected on the mad. We're getting connected on telling the story. And the story has its value. We need to air it out. But as we air it out, we give it more energy. Mm-hmm. So we give that anger that we've put down, that we discuss, we just give it more energy.
Yeah.
So it's about letting the energy go. Oof, that's in me. Oh, let it go. Rise to the top.
Do people come to you even if they don't have physical problems? Even if it's just like, oh my God, I'm feeling super clouded right now. I just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Figure things out because I'm a bit lost.
The big thing now, I think the big words that I hear people say a lot is depression. I'm depressed.
Yeah.
I'm depressed. Or anxiety.
Yeah.
That fear of the future, fear of the past, And you can get medication for it. There's no question. And you can appease it that way. But I did a journey with a friend of mine actually 2 days ago. And that person had told me she's a very rational person. So she likes to think things through. But when you're thinking things through, you're in trouble. Because you're going to keep thinking. The mind is going to, I need to blame somebody, or you understand what I mean? You're just going to go through your own emotional processes. And so instead we just, okay, what's in your heart?
It's almost like the most simple question, but it's just so raw.
Yeah.
It's so raw.
Yeah.
That it's frightening because it's so raw.
I know. And it's amazing. And I used to do these journeys at one point. I used to do them in cemeteries. Sorry. And I did them in cemeteries because for me, I felt like it's like the last chance saloon, right? If you're calling me, if you've been guided to me, which, I don't advertise, it's really you're guided to me, or, I get to stream some show on Netflix. But when you are, and then I used to do it in cemeteries because I felt that it was really important to understand that it's not life and death in the sense of, being alive and being dead, but it's about how much of us is alive inside.
Right.
How much is alive and how much is pushing down on all that aliveness, that creativity, that passion, all those things that we want. How much is sitting on top of that?
That's so interesting.
I know.
So when you talk about Reiki as well, do you use Reiki in the journeying process? Because from what I know of Reiki is that we use it to transfer energy from one person to another through touch.
You can do that.
So is that something that you do as well through journeying as well?
Reiki for me is it's more of a it's like a pied à terre. It's kind of like my stronghold. Mm-hmm. So because it's symbols that when you call the symbol, you're calling for everything that symbol means to me, which is another way of saying, hey, I need to get out of the way. Jeannine needs to get out of the way here because this person didn't come here for me, my stories. Came here for my energy. So I need to be clear. So I call Reiki to me, and what I do is each level of Reiki is either you have the kind of the beginning, which is kind of the battery that says I'm plugged in like a phone, like I'm going to plug my phone in. The second level is which energy body is out of balance. So you have the emotional, the etherical, the emotional, the physical, the mental, all these bodies outside of the body. And so which body needs attention? And then that's a very intuitive process. And then you have the third level, which is past, present, future. So there's no linear time in energy. It's not linear. So which means you have the ability to go forward and backwards to say, okay, so this is an experience from X that's still alive in the physical body. So let's transmute that past energy. Let's transmute it. So essentially that's what that does. It's for people who understand energy. Yeah. Even at Bota will tell me, oh, you did energy on me, didn't you?
Oh,
I said, well, yeah, I did, because I always do it. I don't ever not do it.
Right.
So it's like, it's not a choice thing. It's like, it's automatic.
It's automatic. So you're also working on a workshop right now, and it's actually kind of funny because it really ties in with what you were talking about earlier, about what you did in cemeteries, about things that we hold from the past, etc. You're working on a workshop right now that is supposed to reintroduce the sense of touch between mothers and daughters.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Oh, I felt inspired. Not very, probably from my own experience, and then I just told you that I used to massage my mother's back, which is kind of like,
right.
It's like every
Full
moment
circle.
has been leading to this moment, you know. And when I said, 16 years ago, it was about this is the next $1 billion industry. To, wow, I just needed to be touched. That's why I became a massage therapist. I just simply needed to be touched, and I needed to have touch be impartial. So it wasn't about love, and it's not about pain. It's just about
being there,
and
being seen,
supported.
Maybe,
yeah. So yes, the mother-daughter workshop, and actually using, again, the Hawaiian principles of balance and of harmony, of seeing things the way they really are as opposed to the way we want to. And the mother-daughter relationship is, in my opinion, the hardest relationship to heal. We come with so much. Interesting thing that I learned in the research before this project was that the soul chooses the portal, which means every child, daughter or son, chose that mother. So if we go into an esoteric metaphysical understanding, which, by the way, I'm not forcing anybody to do that. If you go into that and you say, oh, okay, so then if I picked my mother, for instance, I picked her because she was going to bring me to this point where I was going to seek enlightenment, where I was going to seek personal development. I was going to seek all those things, but she had to create a huge amount of chaos between her and I for me to even seek that later on. And I'm eternally grateful, by the way, Mom, thank you. Thank you for all that chaos, because it brought me here. I believe that we come here with all of, as a woman, the divine feminine and what it's been through historically, what it is today. We bring all of that while trying to raise a daughter, while hoping she's like me, or I don't want her to be like me. I have expectations for her. She needs to be this way. She needs to be that way. But she came here with her own journey that the mom was here to support. And we forget that because it's life. And the workshop that I'm plan to offer, that I'm hoping is going to take off, is where you bring mother and daughter back to simple touch. Going to remove the layers, going to go into those feelings like, oh, I'm mad. Okay, ooh, here it comes, up it's gone. Okay, so now what's under mad? Sad. Okay, so I'm going to be with the sad. I'm going to be with all these levels of feelings and emotions that I have to get to the clear space where it's women loving women, mothers loving daughters, daughters loving mothers. And what did we come here to create and do? Born at this time, or my time. We came here to do so much. Yeah. So I believe that's going to be I think it's the next greatest thing. I mean, you can do a workshop of mother and daughter, but when you're touching, and you're back to touching your daughter who's not a baby anymore, and the daughter goes back to touching the mother who she probably never touched her mother. Not really. Yeah. So I believe that the healing possibilities in there are tremendous.
So it's also an act of, yes, physically touching, obviously, but also listening. Yeah. Which is something that, I mean, I'm obviously a daughter. I have a mother as well. But it's maybe something that we tend to forget to do, or that we're not trained to do, if that's the correct word. As women, I think that we are socially constructed to listen to other people a lot and to help, but maybe not, with our mothers uniquely as like a duo kind of system.
It's, to me, it's to bridge the gap, because if I think of myself, when my daughter came into this world, I had, touch was not a thing for me. Yeah. I didn't know touch much. My mother was not a touchy person, like at all. Like giving her the massage there when we were kids, I mean, it was great. But other than that, she was not a touchy, kissy, huggy kind of person. So then when I realized, going into massage therapy, that essentially I went in there to be touched, there was a big lack of touch. Because, I've been doing this for 16 years, so there's a whole lot of touch missing. And what if we could just go back to that? What if we can go back to just simply touching and feeling the person not as we want them to be, but as they are, and embracing all all of themselves. I was thinking this morning about the archetypes. We talk about people coming into archetypes. Imagine a mother who is, let's say, the archetype of the nun or Mother Mary, and the daughter is born with the archetype of, say, a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
Just, as two examples. Can you imagine the relationship?
Right.
And all it is an archetype to move through. It doesn't mean that we are that. It just means that there's a tendency towards that archetype. So the mother being Mother Mary, and then you're like, whoa, that's going to create a ton of conflict.
Yeah.
But if we could go back and say, ooh, I'm here to heal this archetype, and I picked this mother to heal the archetype with, then why are we fighting?
Right.
Why are we not loving each other?
And I think that it's interesting because once we as women become adults, we become kind of equals to our mothers in a sense. So that's also developing that new relationship that we can both have together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like cutting that cord and like kind of raising up at the same level, both of us, to understand each other.
There you go. You just said it.
Have you spoken about this workshop with friends or female friends? Or...
Oh, I have, because I was feeling it out. Because, they call me an anti-marketer. I'm an anti-marketer. And I believe that as I was drawn to massage, and as I was drawn to the massage school that I went to, and what I received there was without a map. So I believe that people will be drawn to me for that. So I've checked in with everybody, and everybody's, well, why not mother and son? I said, voila. Let's start with the mother and daughter.
Yeah, I feel like even like father and son,
Yeah.
father and daughter, there's so many things that can be looked at. But I think you're right. Mother and daughters is probably the best way to go for the first one, for sure.
I think it's important. I just feel, especially at this time, I feel really drawn to the importance of healing that relationship. Women with women, not against.
Yeah. If you start by women with or mothers with their daughters, I feel like it just kind of equals to women with women.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation that we can bring outside of that relationship, that we can have with our friends, with our aunts, with our cousins, our sisters, friends, girlfriends. I think it's just a broader conversation of
It is. It opens many doors.
It does. But it is frightening because it's about putting yourself at risk.
I weigh the risk of not doing it, which to me is greater. It's a greater risk not to do it. Mm-hmm. It's the dialogue, not the dialogue, and the way that I think of the workshop. It's not about, my mother won't let me have my cell phone, or my mother won't let me date. No, it's not about that. Yeah, it's not about those things at all. That's, a nice place to start. And you're just going to get a war when that happens, because then it's, I said, and this is what I want, but I don't want that. And you're not allowed to have that. And so it goes nowhere. So we go to, let's get connected to our heart. And the moment that happens, I believe, and with the touch, you just blew the doors off your heart. You just blew them off. You got no choice. I see it happen in Lomi classes. People, I don't want to do this. Let the 3 days go by and see what happens. Mm. And then it's an opening, and it's, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. Yeah.
Because with these kinds of workshops and I guess even Lomi Nui or anything of that kind, maybe the release won't happen on the spot. And I think that that's something that we should all be aware of, because we very much want things right here, right now. I want it now, all that stuff. And I'll be the first to say that. But I do think that with, things that go deeper, it takes time for the body to also realize what's going on, the mind as well, to process things.
Sure. It does. This isn't an instant, it's not an instant relief either. It's not an instant answer. Yeah. Because it's all layers. How quickly can I get connected to how my heart feels right now? And how long have I been, blocking that off for? So everything's about layers. It's about respecting everybody's journey. Not everybody is ready for that. And I get that. But those that are, they are, but I respect where everyone is, where people are at, all the time.
What would you advise somebody to do if, for instance, they weren't ready to go through all these processes or workshops and stuff? Is there still something that people can do inside their own home just for them to figure out?
I think as a like a goodie bag you get after a birthday party. The goodie bag is, the question is, how does my heart feel today? How does my heart feel today? If I ask that question right now, I could tell you I'm a little bit excited and a little bit sad, I guess, for whatever reason I don't know. And I'm going to detach from why that is and just let it wave up, come out. Okay, so then what's under that? It involves breath. You want to breathe. You want to breathe into that. You want to activate that vagus nerve because, that's like the intuitive part of the body, the stomach, and you take those deep breaths and you say, oh, how does my heart feel right now?
Yeah. And
then let it go. The key is about letting it go. It's detaching from needing to know why I'm sad. We all know why we're sad.
Wow, that hit hard.
We all know. We know the story because we probably, told 10 people. So we know why we're sad. But it's how to move past it, right?
Yeah.
So the key is first of all to get connected to it. So you take that breath. How does my heart feel today? Okay.
Yeah.
Feels like that. Oh, that's familiar. Let's let that go. How does my heart feel today? And just continue through that until as you do the process, it reveals itself. That inner joy and all of that we hear about that in personal development. We want to get to that joyous space. Yeah, but how do you get there? And then how do you know I'm there when I'm there? Yeah. And it's about, okay, I'm going to detach from all of that and make ourselves more available.
Right.
Instead of less available.
It really ties in. I've been talking a lot about the notion of fear lately, and it kind of ties in with that, where I experience fear in different ways. And what I've realized is that fear is definitely something that we can conquer with time. But it's about doing the things that scare you every day a little bit, right? Or it's like facing front and center, like everything that scares you every day. And it's so hard to do. But once you take that step, you get closer to the answer every time. So I feel like with that, it's also kind of, we're scared of like knowing why we're feeling this way, right? A lot of the times, if we're feeling sad or angry at work or at home or wherever, we're not going to let the tears flow. We're not going to let like our voice get higher because, first of all, we're scared of knowing what's going to come after that. But also we're scared of being vulnerable. We're scared of all these things when in reality, it's probably going to take about 5 minutes and then you'll be done. It's also about just like letting go through the emotions, taking them, living them, throwing them away.
You let them go, and what you don't want is, and we all do this to each other, oh, I'm feeling really sad today. It's like, oh, what's going on? Why don't you tell me? The moment you start speaking about it, you start giving matter to that emotion or to that feeling. So you don't want to re-anchor the story. The story came up. The sad, if you just imagine, here comes the sadness, and it's like, I'm really sad that my mom passed away. Mm-hmm. I'm really sad about that. Someone says to you, what's going on? You look sad. Oh, no, I'm not sad. I'm fine. Or you say, yeah, I am sad. My mom died. My mom passed away. And then someone will say, yeah, my mom passed away too. And that was really hard. And
right.
You just were unheard. Your feeling just went poof. And you just put that back down. So imagine to just hold space and be present. Lomi's about that as well. Lomi's about just holding the space for what's there and not what I'd like to be there, what I think should be there. Just simply holding space. And that is, I think, that and listening is the greatest gift you can give anybody.
Yeah, for yourself and for others. And I think that the lesson here is also, unfortunately or fortunately, I do not know yet, but you can't count on everyone for everything. And that's something I've come to realize also, is that we all have friends, I'd hope.
Yeah.
And some friends you can come to for certain things. And then some friends you won't go to, you won't turn to for certain topics because you know that you won't be heard. And that's okay. Yeah. Because that's just asking everybody to be perfect. And at this point, obviously, we know very well that nobody is, and we're not perfect either. So I think it's about, counting your blessings and knowing who to run to. And if you don't have that space, give it to yourself.
Yeah. Just feel.
100%.
Feel what's there. even a little bit.
Yeah. Have you seen the difference between when you started being a massage therapist and who you are now? Have you seen a difference with the person that you were versus the person that you've become?
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. I admire myself so much.
I love that answer. I love it so much.
I really do. I love who I am. I love how I think. I love who I am to people. I love who I am to myself. I love who I am to my family. And, I'm 58 years old now. When I started, I was like, 40 something. The evolution has been incredible. It's been incredible. Yeah. And I feel like I was put on that path of massage for what, I still today, I can't imagine I went in it because it was the next $1 trillion industry, but it brought me here, which is, to me, is incredible. And I thank Bota for that as well. I mean, they're an incredible company. Lots of women. I love that it's 3 daughters and a mom and a dad. And it just, to me, it's incredible. It's, I feel successful there. I feel appreciated there. I feel like what I have to say means something. And my whole career, the whole blossoming of me came through working with the Emo family. So I'm super thrilled. Yeah.
What will 2020 bring to you? What do you hope it will bring to you this year?
Oh, what do I hope it'll bring to me? I hope it'll bring me more wisdom. More wisdom. I hope that I'm able to put together that workshop that I want to do, and that it bring what I believe it can. So that's my goal for 2020 is to launch that workshop. Yeah.
As you know, Bota is a place where people come to find wellness. And I was curious to know, what does wellness mean to you, and how do you bring it to yourself daily?
How I bring it, well, what wellness means to me, it's the balance of the mind, body, and spirit. That it sounds cliche, but it's actually really not. The mind, the body, and the spirit, right? The body is going to reflect what's going on emotionally. The mind, you can grind yourself down, or you can grind yourself up. You can look at life through 2 different ways. My motto every morning for wellness is, how can I serve today? Because to me, service is why I'm here. I'm just here. I'm here to serve. How I take care of myself. I mean, I go for walks, and I have a fiance that loves to cook, so that's really awesome. But taking care of myself is meditating, and is staying away from as many toxic things as possible, like even television, radio, media. I stay away from all of that because I don't need to be influenced, and people are counting on me. Clients that come to see me at Bota, those souls that are put in my path, they're counting on me to be me. So then to me, that's what wellness is.
Staying true to yourself.
Staying true to myself, and being, I made a commitment to be available to these people. And I take that commitment very seriously.
Thank you so much, Jeannine.
Thank you.
This was great.
Oh, I loved it.
See you soon. It's been 8 months since Jeannine and I sat down at Hotel Gold. I took a few minutes today to give Jeannine a call and catch up with her since the world turned upside down.
Hello?
Hi, Jeannine.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Tell us how Jeannine has been doing.
Wow, Jeannine, how's Jeannine doing? Jeannine's doing pretty good. Jeannine, the lockdown was...
Jeannine has made the decision to no longer work at Bota in order to help those in need. She first applied to work in a CHSLD and made her way through a non-traditional space.
I work with over 30 Alzheimer's patients.
Oh, wow.
The full circle for me was the fact that I'm almost 60, and I jumped into something new. It created new pathways in my own mind, my own brain. Learning the French, the translating, all of that created new pathways, and that's the one thing they say that's critical for Alzheimer's. Not that they don't have all the answers necessarily, but that's part of it, is never be afraid to learn, never be afraid to push yourself, never be afraid to open up pathways where you've never been.
Her mother-daughter workshop idea is still in the works more than ever.
It is and even more so because I have such another understanding of that, another level of how we take.
Working with Alzheimer patients has given Jeannine a deeper look into that specific relationship.
So I'm always striving, but the thing that came back to me every time was how the relationships with the mother.
Yeah.
They don't remember, you know, what they ate yesterday, what you said to them 5 minutes ago, sometimes maybe not even 25 years ago. That mother-daughter, the way that they, that's their first go-to, who's going to protect me. And then when you go into it, there's no safety there.
Right.
So they're so alone. They're so alone because even that initial relationship was problematic. The end goal is, for me, is for when they see me, because they don't know me, when they see me that I represent, I feel safe to them. Mm-hmm. That's what I want.
Wow.
And so far it works. For me, it's working really good. For me, Bota will never be over. It will never be over. Because for me, it was such an incredible growing experience, mind-opening experience, and the confidence that Geneviève had in me, and you know, any of the decision makers, that I would be a good coach or a good team lead, and all of these things was huge for me. So I had like 8 years of huge personal growing experience too. So I know it's a job, but it's never just a job. It's always going to be my family.